And then that song just kind of brought everything together. And I was like, oh, Abuela, I'm sorry. I love you so much.
We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno.
Hello, Lin-Manuel.
Hello.
I wish I could talk to you all day about my Colombian family and how much and how much this movie meant to me.
Do you have siblings? Did Surface Pressure do
Oh my
things?
God, I'm the oldest. I'm Surface Pressure.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. I'm the one who, my little brother just runs around doing whatever he wants. And I'm like, lucky you, aren't you? Congratulations. Dos Oruguitas is now #1 in the Latin billboards.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's so cool. And also,
It's a
we don't talk about Bruno surpassed Let It Go.
it's unreal. It's really unreal. You know, you live with these songs for a long time while you're writing them. And the fact that they've been embraced, and I get so many videos just from my friends' kids, you know, singing the songs. It's really heartwarming. And
I have a hard time memorizing songs. And so I was talking to my niece, Ariana. She's 6.5. And I'm like, Adi, do you know the song We Don't Talk About Bruno? And she went off and sang the entire song, like every character. And I'm like, okay.
I'm sorry, maybe
Wow.
I go on.
Oh, even that part. She's like, I'm gonna go on. And I'm like, okay, Addie, I see you. I read somewhere that you, or watched it somewhere. I've seen so many of your interviews with this because I really enjoyed this movie. I saw somewhere that you typically don't really write in Spanish. And so I'm just like, how the heck did you write probably one of the most beautiful songs of our lifetime and made the entire internet cry, like ugly cry? Like, how does it make you feel that you made everyone ugly cry?
It feels great. But
Yes.
it's also a combination of things, right? It's the song on its own and Sebastián Yatra's vocals, like on their own, it's gorgeous. But then when you juxtapose that with what's happening in the movie, it's truly overwhelming. And, you know, I'm someone I'm bilingual, but I'm pretty English dominant, you know, like I can carry on a conversation with anyone in my neighborhood in Spanish, but if I have to write it down, I fuck up where the accent goes.
Me too.
Masculino y femenino. Like just the rules, me turbo.
100%.
And so what was it? I knew the song needed to be in Spanish because it's really the foundational story of their family. So it felt like it needed to be in Spanish, and the metaphor is more beautiful in Spanish. Oruguitas is just a prettier word than caterpillars.
Yeah.
And so what was interesting was as I began to work on the song, something happened to me that hadn't happened in many years, which is I started dreaming in Spanish again.
Oh my gosh, like speaking in Spanish?
Yeah, like my dreams were in Spanish, which that hadn't happened to me since I was like a teenager and spending the summer in Puerto Rico. Like I need to be pretty immersed for my subconscious to switch. And my subconscious was like totally dialed in to help me get the song out of wherever it comes from and into the world. And I'm really proud of it, and I'm really happy it's been so well received.
Well, good job, because everyone's out here ugly crying thanks to this song.
Well, it made my wife ugly cry, and my wife doesn't cry at anything. She's the toughest critic in my house. And so, you know, I've told this story before, but one of our first dates, we watched It's a Wonderful Life. And, you know, I'm like, at the end of that. And she looks at me and goes, that was good. I'm sad. And I was like, robot.
Okay, wow.
But she, you know, when I played her that song, she just like, she went, that's the best one. That's the best one you've done.
I really loved that song because at first I was a little upset at Abuela. I was like, Abuela, I'm upset at you for what you have caused, you know, because I also kind of grew up with that, like, you have to be a niña buena and you have to be very proper and da-da-da-da-da. And like, I was like, dang, Abuela, like, you're kind of mean. And then that song just kind of brought everything together. And I was like, oh, Abuela, I'm sorry. I love you so much.
Yeah, but it's,
like, oh.
Again, it's what art can do, right? Is like give you a crash course in empathy with someone you thought you hated.
Yes.
And I'll tell you a story that's anecdotal, but it's related to what you're saying, which is that, I wrote Surface Pressure really thinking of my older sister. Like combine machismo and the fact that she's the older sister to a baby brother who was like the prince. And like it's totally my apology letter to her. That song. It's like, I see you and I see how you had it. But I watched it with my sister and her boys, my nephews. And after the movie, I said, well, your mom is Luisa. And they went, no, she's not. She's abuela. She runs everything. And I tell you that story just because, again, like only a generation separates those things, right?
Yes.
And they don't see that my sister is incredibly sensitive and always has to hold things together. They just see she controls every moment of our day.
Yeah, she's telling me what to do.
Telling me what to do. So that's, and that's what's wonderful is I think the movie gives you vocabulary to talk about your family dynamics. And it's not just anecdotal. It's, see?
Oh my God.
In the same way that like I remember seeing Inside Out with my kids and suddenly we have this new vocabulary for how to talk about how we're feeling. Like, oh, is anger at the console? Like what's going on?
I think definitely Disney movies have slowly and recently been very like, we're going to teach you a lesson in the most magical way possible that you're not even going to think that it's a lesson. And I'm like, oh my God, I learned so much today.
Not even that it's a lesson, but it's just like a new set of vocab to talk about what's going on with you. And families are complicated. Like the great work of our life is with family. You can't break up with your sister. You can't break up with your parents. And so it's, that work of continuing to see each other as you change over the course of your life is your life's work in a very real way.
When I write, I'm always like, okay, this reminds me of my tia, this reminds me of my grandma, new character.
Yep.
Last question I have for you. How is the experience of working with Carlos Vives and Sebastián Yatra and then having Maluma as a character, which was so funny. That part, he's just like, I have so much love out that part.
I know. I wish I had more for him to sing because he's not in the family. But the moment he does sing, it really pops.
Oh my gosh, it really does.
He's such a wonderful singer. But it was a joy, right? Like that's the when I was writing Colombia Mi Encanto, which is like the second song I ever wrote in Spanish after Those Oruguitas, I was just doing my best Carlos Vives impression because I grew up with his music. And I wanted to write a cumbia, I wanted to write a vallenato that felt like what I would put on at a party. And so then to hear it in his voice is very like outside of, it's a very surreal experience. I mean, the only thing I can sort of describe that felt like that was when I got to work with my hero Black Thought on the Hamilton mixtape, and I heard him like reciting verses that I wrote that like I was picturing him when I was writing them. So it's been a real joy.
And Carlos is also, I've met him once, and he's kind of like his songs, just as lively, just as fun, just as nice. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're such a nice guy. He's like, yeah, man, tú sabes. He's like, come to my restaurant when you go to Colombia. And I'm like, okay. Sure.
Exactly.
But thank you so much, Len. It was so nice to meet you. And I hope I get to meet you again someday and hopefully work with you. And thank you again for everything.
Thank you, Laura. It was great to meet you. This was a great talk. Thank you.
La casita.
In time, every member of our family,
Cecilia, up top!
was given their own magical gift.
I understand you.
I'm not super strong.